إن الذين فرقوا دينهم وكانوا شيعا لست منهم في شيء إنما أمرهم إلى الله ثم ينبئهم بما كانوا يفعلون.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء وسيد المرسلين وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المحسومين منتجبين المنتخبين المظلومين الغرر الميامين سيما بقية الله في الأرضين وهجته للخلائق أجمعين سيدنا وإمام زماننا وصاحب نعمتنا وولي أمرنا مهدي هذه الأمة وتؤوس أهل الجنة الحجة ابن الحسن العسكري فداه أرواح العالمين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In our previous videos we discussed whether we can send blessings upon the Prophet, and we agreed that you could. We discussed the fact that the Prophet said don't forget to include my Ahlul Bayt. Then we discussed who are the Ahlul Bayt. Then in the previous video from this one we discussed the issue of wudu and whether you're supposed to wipe your feet or whether you're supposed to wash them. We proved from the Quran, from Bukhari and from Muslim and many other narrations and hadiths that you're not supposed to wash your feet but you're supposed to wipe them, and Uthman was the first person to start this new method. Now let's discuss combining the prayer, because this is an issue that we have as well. Shias combine Zuhr and Asr together, and they combine Maghrib and Isha together. Ahl Sunnat wal Jamaat members separate Zuhr and Asr, and they separate Maghrib and Isha. Now, it's a small issue, I know, right? And I'm not going to make a big deal about it. But it's an issue that people need to have knowledge of. Because if a Christian came up to you and he said that, hold on, why do some Muslims pray 5 times a day? And why do some Muslims pray 3 times a day? What are you going to say? You don't know what to say. We're supposed to have knowledge of each and every single section of the laws of Islam so that we can reply to those that question us. So therefore, this video is going to be about combining the prayers, whether it's permissible, whether it's not permissible. We're going to use the Quran, and we're going to use the Bukhari and Muslim and the Muslim of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Now all Muslims, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, all Muslims agree that we have to pray 5 times a day. So there's no dispute about that. The only dispute is that there are specific times for these prayers, and what are they? Now, the Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat are made up of 4 scholars, where they take their jurisprudential issues from. Imam Shafi, Maliki, Hanbali and Hanafi. Now Shafi, Maliki and Hanbali agree that you can combine your Zuhr and Asr and your Maghrib and Isha while traveling. The Hanafi school of thought allows you to combine your Zuhr and Asr on the day of Arafah. But the Shia school of thought says that you can combine your prayers in all cases, whether you're traveling or not, etc. so on and so forth. So 3 schools of thought of the Ahl Sunnah say that you can combine while traveling. One says that you can combine on the day of Arafah, and the Shia school of thought says that you can combine in any circumstance. The issue is that what is the exact beginning time of the prayer? What is the exact ending time of the prayer? And for this we shall use the Quran and the narrations and the hadiths of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. There are the prayers of the times of the prayers have been mentioned 3 times in the Quran, right? Again, first source of inspiration, first source of narration for Muslims, Quran. If it's not there, Hadith, right? Now let's start with the Quran. Has the Quran told us the times of the prayers? Yes. So we don't have to go to the Hadith just yet. We can focus on just the Quran for the meantime. The Quran has mentioned the specific times of prayers on 3 occasions, right? 3 verses. Now the Quran states in chapter 17, verse 78. Pray from midday until the darkness of the night and recite the Quran in the early dawn. So that's basically 3 mentions of times. Now you're going to find this really interesting. Let's say Sunnis pray 5 times and Shia pray 3 times. And then let's see what the Quran says about the specific times of the prayers. The Quran does not say the Quran doesn't mention 5 different times of Salah. It only mentions 3. On all 3 of these hadiths, all 3 of these verses that I'm about to present before you, the Quran does not say pray 5 times. It does not mention 5 specific times of prayer. The Quran only mentions 3, which is exactly what we Shias do. So it says pray from midday, that's the first one, until the darkness of the night, the second one. And recite the Quran in the early dawn. That's the third one. So the Quran in chapter 17 verse 78 mentions 3 times of prayers. Midday refers to the shared time of Zohr and Asr. So midday refers to Zohr and Asr, not just Zohr or not just Asr. The darkness of the night refers to the shared time of Maghrib and Isha. So not just Maghrib and not just Isha. And the early dawn refers to the Fajr prayers. So Allah says pray 5 times a day, but mentions 3 times. 3 times, which is exactly what the Shias are doing. So the prayer falls into 3 main periods of time. Not 5, 3. I'm not saying pray 3 times and not pray 5. I'm on about the specific times of the prayer. So this first verse has told us that there's 3 specific frames of times for prayer, not 5. Now, a very renowned Sunni person who does the tafsir, known as Fakhruddin al-Razi, in his tafsir, volume 5, page 428, said that this verse means that there are only 3 specific times of prayer, not 5. That's the first one. Let's look at the second one. If you look at chapter 11, verse 114, it says, pray at the 2 ends of the day and in some hours of the night. So again, the 2 ends of the day and some hours of the night. Again, there's 3 main time frames, not 5. Now, the Quran said 2 ends of days. The first end of the day is Fajr. The second end of the day begins at noon and ends at sunset, so it's Zuhr and Asr. And the hours of the night is the 3rd main time in which Maghribain should be offered, which is Maghrib and Isha, which begins at the start of the night till midnight. So again, the Quran in this verse mentions 3 times of prayer, not 5. And finally, the Quran says in chapter 50, verses 39 and 40, glorify the praises of your Lord before the rising of the sun, and before its setting, and during a part of the night. So again, it's been divided into 3 segments. Before the rising of the sun, before its setting, and during a part of the night. So before the rising of the sun refers to the Fajr prayers, before its setting refers to the afternoon prayers, and during a part of the night refers to the night prayers. So, let me see how much more I got. Okay. So, the Quran has specified on 3 verses which I have narrated for you, that the Quran has told us 3 time frames of prayer, not 5. So Allah doesn't say, pray in the morning, then 1 in the afternoon, then 1 in the noon, then 1 in the night, then 1 in the evening. No. It doesn't say, it doesn't give you 5 time frames of prayer, does it? No. The Quran says pray for 3 segments of the day. And that's exactly what we Shias are doing, and that's not what you Sunnis are doing. So wake up and read the Quran properly. You become Hafiz of Quran. You read Taraweeh throughout the whole of Ramadan. But you're just a parrot dictating what the Quran, or just memorize, which is sawab. Yes, it's true. It's sawab to read the Quran. It's sawab to look at the Quran. It's sawab to have the Quran in your house. It's sawab to talk about the Quran. But if you're not going to understand the meaning of the Quran, then it's pointless. Then you're stupid. If you don't understand Arabic, then look at the Quran in the English translation and understand it. Or in the Urdu, or in the Persian, or in the Latin, or in the French, German, Spanish, whatever language that you find comfortable. So I've showed you on 3 occasions that the Quran has mentioned 3 time frames of prayer, not 5. Now let's look at some hadiths. Bukhari says that the Prophet used to combine the afternoon prayers, meaning Zuhr and Asr together, and he used to combine the evening prayers, meaning Maghrib and Isha together, without travelling or being in fear. Now hold on. 3 schools of thought of the Sunni says you can do it only while travelling. 1 says you can only do it on Arafah. And 1 says you can do it all the time. What's the Prophet doing? He's doing it all the time. So how is the Prophet praying? He's praying the way the Shias pray, not the way the Sunnis pray. Now you're going to say, Syed, where is this narrated? If you look at Sahih al-Bukhari, in the book on the times of prayer, it's 2 hadiths. Hadith number 510 and hadith number 529. Both of them specifically state that the Prophet used to combine Zuhr and Asr, and used to combine Maghrib and Isha every time. Without travelling, without being in fear, without it raining, without any circumstance, without it being a day of Arafah. He always used to combine the afternoon and the evening prayers. If you look at, where else is it narrated? If you look, again in Bukhari, if you look on the book on Friday prayer, hadith number 1103 says the same thing. If you look at Muslim, on the book of the prayers for the travellers, hadith number 1146, it says the exact same thing, that the Prophet used to combine them. If you look at Tirmidhi, on the book of prayer, hadith number 172, it says the exact same thing. And finally, if you look at the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, now I'm going to say this slowly, or you can pause in between, because I've got loads of them and this took a lot of time and a lot of effort, so I'd like to appreciate for the people to research it. The Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, volume 1, hadiths numbers 217, 221, 223, 251, 273, 283, 285, 346, 351, 354, 360, and 366 all state that the Prophet used to combine his Zohr and Asr together and used to combine his Maghrib and Isha together all the time. And finally, Muslim states in his Sahih, on the book of the times of the prayers of the travellers, chapter 6, hadiths 50 and 54, that Ibn Abbas asked the Prophet, why did he combine the prayers? The Prophet replied, because he did not want to cause difficulty for his nation. And finally, Muslim also states in chapter 6 to 8, hadith 58 to 62, that the Prophet used to combine the prayers during the time of that we used to combine the prayers during the time of the Prophet. So, to sum up and to conclude. The Quran says on 3 occasions that there are 3 time frames of prayer, not 5. Bukhari, Muslim, Tirmidhi and the Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal is narrated on many occasions that the Prophet used to combine his afternoon prayers. Ibn Abbas narrates in Muslim that the Prophet said he told the Ummah to combine your prayers because he did not want to cause difficulty for his nation. And Muslim has also been narrated to have said that Ibn Abbas said that during the time of the Prophet, we used to combine our prayers. So if you still watch this video and you still think that combining prayers is haram, then you're contradicting the whole school of thought of the Sunnis and you're contradicting the Quran. Right? So after watching this video, I recommend you to research upon the verses that I have given, to check the hadiths that I have given, and inshallah, starting from now, you start combining your prayers, because that's the way Allah has intended you to pray, and that is the way the Prophet has intended you to pray, not leaving them separate and making your own religion, right? So if you have any questions concerning sending blessings upon the Prophet, washing and wiping your feet, and combining the prayers, please leave a comment underneath or send me a message on here, or message of Karbala in my inbox. I will be more than happy to reply to you. I'm here at your service. I'm here for your service. I'm back, right? So the next video that I'm going to make, which will be tomorrow, and that's going to be whether we're allowed to do this in prayer. Are we allowed to fold our arms during Salah? Yes or no? It's another issue. And then in the end, we'll talk about, are we allowed to look right and are we allowed to look left in prayer? And then once we've done prayer and wudu, then we'll go on to other topics. So thank you very much for viewing. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala bayti at-tayyibin at-tahirin.